The domain four, these are just a few of the learning objectives. I'll run through them. I'll explain as we go ahead. And in some cases, I might delve in a little bit deep just to help us understand what to expect. And learning objectives. Now, upon completion of this domain four, we should be able to evaluate the organization's ability to continue business operations. So business continuity is key. I mean, ensuring that we are built to be resilient, built to withstand any, I say, use the word tribulation, tribulation and trials that might come. The storms. I mean, those in the UK, no, not UK, US, Canada. I mean, you always hear about storms, 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 and it tears things up. All right. And so if we have a business within that particular region, we should be able to protect ourselves and ensure that we can continue to do business even if our physical building gets torn down. So how do we do that? That will be covered more under your business continuity, disaster recovery aspect of the topic. All right. Now, secondly, we should be able to evaluate whether the IT service management practices aligns with business requirements. Um, Whatever we do, the priority is always the business. No matter how um, advanced the technology is, if it doesn't help us to achieve our business requirement, is a failed implementation. So, as IT auditors, or at the end of this session, we should be able to evaluate if the IT service management practices aligns with the business requirements. We should be able to conduct periodic review of information systems and enterprise architecture, which means that we will be able to do things like maybe a network audit. What should I check out for during an audit? And if you go through the manual, those are the information that are handy already for you in the manual. All right. I mean, it gives you a few tips and things you should check out for. And in the course of the previous classes, I think the first class, I introduced us to how we could actually get work papers from ISACA. I mean, for free if you are a member already, and also for a discounted value for the paid work papers or white papers that will be useful for you in practical work. All right, so those are things that I feel that we should watch out for. So we need to be able to conduct some of these audits. Now, we should be able to evaluate the IT operations to determine if they are controlled effectively and if they can continue to support the organization's objective. So it's not just enough to say, okay, yeah, we have servers here, we have databases here, we have different applications. You want to be able to review these applications, these databases. I mean, are they protected well? Are they controlled well? Do they help us to achieve our overall organizational objective? Part of the objective of most organizations is to create wealth for the shareholders. So if we have solutions that create wealth, like our applications, the services we offer, but then also it's a drainer of wealth because we deployed it ineffectively, and that's a problem. So those are things we, as IS auditors, should be able to check out for. Next, want to be able to evaluate IT maintenance practices to be able to determine if they are controlled effectively and if they still continue to support the organization's objective. All right. And when we talk about maintenance practices, I mean, maintenance culture, we all know that part of what makes the world go round, or I mean, all those beautiful places we travel to, what makes them attractive and I'll use the word alluring to tourists and visitors is the fact that they are neat, they are clean, they are in top condition, is the maintenance culture. So we don't have to always buy servers every year. If we maintain the servers, monitor the capacity utilization, upgrade when necessary, then we won't have huge downtimes. Because every downtime, every time that our service is offline, is the time where our customers are being serviced by our competitor. Because really, I mean, no matter how loyal your customer is to you, when they are under pressure, when they need to get a service, I mean, consume your services. If you are not available, they will go to the nearest or the closest. Alternative. Thank you. Alternative. Yeah, the closest alternative. I was actually looking for an economic word. I can't remember. I think there's a word that is used in economics for those substitute or something like that. But it's okay. Thanks for that word, alternative. So I mean, your customers will go for the next best thing. So you might be the best thing before Coca-Cola, but then if they are thirsty and they want something sweet, they will go for Sprite, they will go for Pepsi, they will go for any other thing. So you do not want to be outside. You do not want to be out of the face of your customer. So I mean, I mean that's just the goal there. So we need to um, take care of the goose that lays the golden egg, sort of. So, I mean, I used to work with computer warehouse as a support person at my earlier stage of my career, and I worked with Stanbic through them as a consultant then. And a part of the work we do is this preventive maintenance. You don't wait until the servers are down. I mean, at specific scheduled times, they intentionally shut down for us to clean up and dust. I mean, blow off dust from the servers, remove the memory, clean it. Do I mean basically preventive maintenance is actually called the preventive maintenance schedule. All right. So for us as auditors, we want to be able to evaluate what's the maintenance practice. Do we wait until things get spoiled and then replace it, or do we have a preventive maintenance culture? Do we have a way of ensuring that what we have lasts and they are utilized to the best that we can utilize them for? So that's that. Then I'm able to evaluate database management practices, evaluate data governance policies and practices. I introduced us to is it sans.org, which is also one of those sites I said that one of those sites that I said I get free CP hours by going for their conferences, online free conferences, free trainings, and then I also mentioned them in the light of it's a good repository of technical policies, all right, IT policies, index policies, different types of policies, security policies that you need in your organization and you can actually repurpose for your organization. So, I mean, feel free to check them out. So, for us, in the course of this class, you should be able to understand, okay, how can we evaluate data governance policies and practices? I mean, when you talk about data governance, you'll be talking about data lifecycle from the point of engagement with customer or the data, the source of the data, to getting a signed or an approval to use the data. I mean, we all live in different climes, and the truth is, globally, there is a big interest on data. So anyone who is into data mining, governance, it's a big deal because right now, for you to use data, you need to get consent and clear purpose for that data. So you're not permitted to use the data beyond the purpose for which you collected it in the first instance. All right. So I mean, those are things that we need to know, to understand. For us in our organization, what is the data management processes? What's the policies we have in place? What's the framework to ensure that we do not breach any of these global and international regulatory requirements? And I mean, and for some of these requirements, we also have the local variant, just like GDPR. I think we have NDPR or something, which is more like the equivalent of the GDPR globally for Nigeria. All right. That being said, we should also be able to evaluate problems and incident management policies and practices. We should be able to define what is a problem, what's an incident. Most times, it's used interchangeably, but in reality, an incident and a problem are two different things. Incident is something that happens one off, all right. But a problem is a persistent incident, an incident that keeps happening, which means that there is a root cause that has not been dealt with. All right. So when you are talking about problem management, you are talking about root cause analysis and the likes. All right. So, I mean, for us, in the course of this session, you should be able to check, okay, what's the policy on how we handle problems and incidents in our organization? What are the practices we have in place? I mean, in most organizations, you have templates, you have frameworks that you would use for this kind of in-depth analysis to find out what exactly happened. You don't just solve problems at the peripheral. Okay, then we should be able to evaluate change, configuration release, patch management, policies, and practices. So we'll be looking at change management, the types of change management we have. If it is parallel, run change, if it's an abrupt change, if it's a phase change, how do we handle configurations and releases? All right. Then we should be able to evaluate end user computing to determine whether processes are effectively controlled. When you talk about end user computing, you're talking about laptops, mobile devices, and other things to see how do we secure those endpoints, all those end user computing devices. And also, we should be able to evaluate policies and practices related to asset lifecycle management. So it's not, we talked about one cycle management, which was the data, yeah, the data I mentioned something about data lifecycle when we're talking about the data governance policies and practices. Now we also have things like the asset lifecycle, and assets can be both tangible and intangible assets. And for those of us with accounting background or financial audit, you know that there is this thing we call depreciation of assets, and they have different ways of treating it. So you want to figure out in your organization for your IT assets, how do we manage them from the point of purchasing to deployment, usage, then decommissioning when it comes to end of life. All right. I mean, for most of the end user assets like laptops, desktops, by the time the value has been fully end user devices, maybe 4 to 5 years. And after 4 to 5 years, the laptop or the desktop, they are still good enough. The question is, what do we do next? So that's where, I mean, having a lifecycle management process properly defined comes in, because it removes the guesswork from the actual work. So things can work clockwise. All right. So these are just a few learning objectives that we have. And as I said to us in the previous classes, it's not possible for us to cover every single topic here in class, but the goal is to be able to get us to a place where we are comfortable, where we are bold enough, where we can, I mean, go after questions and then get good results.